All right, G5. Here's John.
Welcome to El Agave Mexican Restaurant in Hamilton, Alabama. Under new management, we're excited to offer you a fresh atmosphere with delicious food and drinks. Mark your calendar for August the 10th and enjoy live music by the Chris Williams Band. Come on in and savor our specials and experience the vibrant new vibe at El Agave. Don't forget, we have karaoke coming soon. We'll see you there.
From a small dent to major collision repair, Hamilton Paint and Body is here for you. Owners Kim Guin would like to say thank you for your business.
Hello, I'm Richard Kitchens, owner of Sports Gallery here on the Court Square in Hamilton. I'd like to thank all of our customers and thank you for watching the Hamilton City Council meeting.
Hi, my name is Randy Whitehead, President and CEO of People's Trust Bank. I invite you to view the live streaming of Hamilton City Council meetings every first and third Monday at 6 o'clock p.m.
In your perfect stay at the Holiday Inn in Guin off of I-22. Enjoy our amazing on-site restaurant and bar with a lunch buffet every Sunday. Relax with a quick getaway with your family and make a splash in our outdoor pool. Book your next event with us. Call us at 205-468-4625.
I'm Rick Chambliss with Marion County Funeral Home and Spry Memorial Chapel in Russellville, Alabama. This is Glenda Cochran, our manager out here. Under the laws of Alabama that was passed in 2002, a funeral establishment has to be certified with the state and carry a certificate of authority before they can even talk to anyone when the time comes is guaranteed to be there.
Tom Bigby Electric Cooperative was formed for the need for electricity to the local citizens that were living in the rural areas of Marion, Lamar, and portions of Fayette counties. This line consisted of 12 miles and 22 consumers on the road from Guin to Sulligent. Between then and now, there has been a lot of hard work and dedication from a great number of people to make this cooperative what it is today. Tom Bigby Electric Corporation would like to thank each member. You can contact us today at 205-921-6712.
Your story starts at Bevel State Community College. Whether you are just starting out or starting over, Bevel State has an opportunity that is right for you. With 5 locations serving 7 counties, you don't have to go far to start your own success story. Plus, with tuition lower than 4-year colleges, you won't need to spend more for a great education. Visit us online at bscc.edu to learn about your options for seamless academic transfer and high-demand career tech and health science offerings. Let us help you tell your story.
Appreciate the guests that have come our way tonight. Some have business here with us tonight. We'll see as the meeting moves forward. We always pause just for a moment and have an invocation and pledge of allegiance, and then we'll move on into our first item on our agenda tonight. So let's stand together. Father in heaven, we pause at this moment just to thank you for another day. Lord, we thank you for the blessings that you've given to our city through the times. Lord, we thank you so much that you're still in charge of the world that we live in. You created for man. And Lord, we thank you for that. We've heard the war drums beating this week. Lord, we hope that cooler heads can prevail. People will put the weapons away and seek peace again. We actually, Lord, are very anxious about this matter because it can mean devastation. But we know, Lord, that still you're in charge. Be with us in this meeting tonight. May we conduct business in a way that's pleasing to you. Travel with us for the rest of the journey. Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Item 1 is really off the chart just a bit. We're going to, in a minute, approve our minutes, but I'd like to recommend that we accept the retirement request for K-9 Police Officer Axe as presented by Handler Trey Webb. Axe will retire from active duty with the Hamilton Police Department effective August the 4th, 2024, and will remain in the care of Officer Trey Webb for the remainder of his life. Axe has been a faithful servant for the citizens of Hamilton and the Hamilton Police Department since April 2017. And I'd like to make a motion and a second to accept the retirement request for K-9 Axe.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion? Got a second from Scott. All those in favor of accepting that retirement?
Chief, you'd like to say a word? Or move on?
I don't think I could say it much better than the mayor said it. Axe has been a dedicated servant. I've worked alongside him when I was a patrolman here. When I was a deputy at the sheriff's office, he's assisted in over 200 arrests. Just a sweet soul. He's a big baby, and we love him. We're going to miss having him around. If my wife has anything to do with it, she'll request Trey bring Axe back up to the office every now and then. So, but yeah, we're going to miss him. He's a good dog.
Thank you. We have a replacement for Axe.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about
K-9 Luna is going to be the replacement for K-9 Axe. I say replacement, never can really replace a member of your force, especially when it comes down to our four-legged partners. But K-9 Luna is in care and under handler Chris Norris, and she's already proved herself, making several cases. We're excited. She has about the same temperament as Axe, which is good. They're cool, calm, collective, and when it comes down to business, they're strictly business. So I think we made a good purchase when we obtained Luna using the opioid money, the settlement money. So she's definitely going to help in not only the detection and deterrence of narcotics, but the education as well. She's going to be able to be in the schools, and when you see a dog, when children see a dog, they know that that's a drug police dog. So that it's going to be able to help us out with the community as well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Item 1 on our agenda tonight is a recommendation to approve the minutes of the July 15th City Council meeting. Need a motion. Sherry made the motion. We need a second. Second from Ross. All those in favor of approving our minutes? Thank you. Item 2, a recommendation to pay our accounts payable bills for July 2024. We need a motion to pay our accounts payable. Got a motion from Ross. Need a second.
Second.
Second from Wade. All those in favor of paying our accounts? Thank you. Item 3 is a recommendation to adopt Resolution 2024-8-5, which is the annual transportation improvement plan for the city of Hamilton. This plan will show that funds collected from the Rebuild Alabama gas tax will be used as required by Act 2019-247 passed by the Alabama legislature. The city's plan is to spend the project funds of $60,000 collected by this tax for the paving and striping of various streets throughout the city of Hamilton. And that would be our plan, our resolution plan. We'll need to adopt that by motion and second.
I'll make a motion.
Scott made a motion. We need a second. Sherry made a second. All in favor of adopting that resolution? Thank you. Item 4 is a recommendation not to renew certificate of deposit 3366 at People's Trust Bank at its maturity date of August 21st, 2024. This CD will, with estimated funds of $52,146, will be cashed out and the funds will be placed in the city's general fund. Got a motion from Ross, and we'll need a second.
Second.
Second from Wade. All those in favor? Thank you. We would like to announce that Daniel Lancaster will be hired as a grade 4 water treatment operator trainee. And Rodney, would you like to tell us a little bit about Mr. Lancaster's background?
Daniel Lancaster, he took it upon himself to get his schooling, get his grade 4. He's passed the grade 4 exam already. He will just have to do his internship before he can operate the plant by himself. And that'll be almost a year. He's already passed the test.
So when does he start?
Starts Monday.
And I believe we did say these plans to move to Hamilton.
He is looking to move out.
Yeah, okay. And the recommended pay for Daniel Lancaster is $18.16 per hour for this position. This will be a trainee position, even though he's passed his test.
I'll make that motion.
Scott made the motion to pay Daniel. Sherry second. All those in favor of paying that wage? Thank you. Announce that Carrie King will be hired, this is item 7, Carrie King will be hired as the athletic director for the Hamilton Park and Recreation Department. Carrie's been with us before, showed a great interest of coming back. She has done a good job, made a decision, a career decision, and when the application opened up, she reapplied. Her heart's really in coming back to work for us, and we accepted her as our new director of athletics for the Hamilton Park and Recreation. Recommended pay for Carrie King would be $17.64 per hour for this position. We need a motion to pay Carrie.
I'll make
Motion from Wade, we need a second.
second.
Second from Ross. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Then we're down to item 9. We'll announce that APOS Law Enforcement Certified Officer, Scotty Ballou, will be hired as one of our school resource/protection officers for the city of Hamilton. Very proud to announce that. Chief, would you like to say anything concerning that?
Yes, sir. Ironically enough, Scotty Ballou and Scotty Chandler, which recently retired, Scotty Chandler and Scotty Ballou, they were partners. They've practically been through their law enforcement career together. Scotty Ballou has over 25 years of law enforcement experience, SWAT certification. He has experience as an SRO in Tuscumbia. So when I was interviewing him for this position, he was actually bringing knowledge to the table for me because this is a new adventure for the city of Hamilton. We're really looking forward to having Scotty Ballou on board. He's been to the TASRO training. Like I said, he just has a lot to bring to the table. We're looking forward to it.
When does he start?
He will start Monday. So for the first 3 days of school, we have to assign an officer there. He already had some vacation planned, so I just told him that Monday would be fine, and we're going to schedule an officer to be at the high school, middle school campus for the first 3 days.
Okay, thanks, Chief. And item 10 would be a recommendation to approve the pay of $36,000 per year plus the cost of single coverage health insurance to be paid to Scotty Ballou for this position as school resource/protection officer. The cost of single coverage insurance will be $7,300 per year, and this will bring his total salary to $43,300 per year. Marion County Board of Education will provide $40,000 per year to go toward the expenses of a school resource officer. The maximum cost to the city in this case will be $3,300 per year. I make that as a recommendation.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion from Ross. We need a second. Sherry made the second. All those in favor? Thank you. And we're very proud to have our school resource officers in both campuses now. And this is first year for us. And occasionally we'll want a little update, Chief, if you'll keep your ear to the ground.
Yes, sir. And I'll reiterate. I may have misconstrued. We'll actually have an officer at the elementary school, and then we'll have an officer that splits both the high school and middle school. So I didn't want to confuse anyone when I said what I said, but we'll definitely have an officer at the elementary school campus, and then we'll have one officer that's split in both the high school and middle school. And of course, our officers will still routine patrol through there and give a bit of presence as well.
Have you looked at the improvements they've made at the elementary school? Is it more protected than it was formerly?
From what I'm seeing, yes, sir, it is. I haven't been over there within the last few weeks, but definitely it's looking a lot better than back in my elementary school days.
Okay.
Jordan, have you got anything you want to say that needs to be here, school starting, just we'll be patient? I know it'll be.
Yes, sir. I just tell everyone to be patient. We're going to have officers stationed everywhere that's congested. Me and the patrol sergeant was talking today. I'll be out. We're going to make sure we have plenty of officers at the congested areas. One request I do have is to try not to block Highway 17 there at the bottom of that hill. I know that you want to get there and line up early to pick your kids up. But that's just so dangerous there, and it can cause congestion, especially when the buses in the afternoon start trying to turn up through there, because you're having to stop traffic and put the buses on the wrong side of the road. That's a dangerous situation. So if you see that the Highway 17 entrance to the elementary school is congested, maybe circle the block or go sit at the walking track or something. Maybe go up to an open parking lot somewhere and just sit and wait until the flow of things start moving, because that's at the bottom of that hill. It's dangerous anyway, with semis and people coming off that hill there. It's just dangerous. So if you see it getting congested, maybe not line up in the road, don't block traffic definitely, and just maybe go hang out in a parking lot or something nearby.
And when those buses stop, they'll go around. We had officers riding last year and wrote several tickets because
yes, sir.
The horn goes out, people won't go around because you're in a hurry. Everybody's impatient.
Yes, sir. We do plan on trying to get back on those buses and doing that. It may not be within the first couple of weeks. It may be. Just depends on our resources. But we do want to encourage safety around school buses, because children are unpredictable. You don't know. You try to hope that they're going to follow the procedure in crossing the highway or going to their homes, but they may see a loved one or a family member near the edge of the road, and they may run toward the edge of the road, and then it's too late. So stop for the stop signs, stop for the school buses. You see the flashing lights, go ahead and start applying your brakes. Thank y'all.
Item 11 is the recommendation to approve the audit for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2023, as presented by CPAs Amy Gillen and Leanne Jones of Riggs Accounting Firm, and this was done at the July 30th work session. The explanation of our audit findings. There's really no negative findings. They said we'd have a good year, and I'd like to go ahead and accept their audit and make it official tonight. Ross made a motion.
I'll second.
Got a second from Scott. All those in favor of accepting our annual audit? Thank you. Didn't get the, y'all got something for tonight's agenda?
They want to speak, I think. One of y'all speak, but we talked about the drainage situation at the church.
Yeah. So I'm Brad
You'll
Johnson.
come up. Okay.
I'm Brad Johnson. I go to New Heights Church. I'm a member there, and we have a problem at the edge of our parking lot with a culvert collapse. It's making a lot of holes in our yard. And it's a really dangerous situation, for people who can break their leg and so on and so forth. So I'm asking the city of Hamilton to repair the culvert. It's 36-inch culvert, and it's a big drain coming from like the Yamaha shop and the old laundromat, all that water comes down and comes underneath the drainage pipe right there on the drive. So just see about getting it repaired.
Where does that, does it come across 43, Brad? Where does it go?
I think it goes parallel to 43 and hits Ragsdale Creek. That's somewhere down in there. About where we had the...
I see it every day when I go up that way. I meant to drive by, I don't know whether meeting I was running late.
This past week, got a pricing on the pipe and the labor. It's $21,120 to do the pipe and the labor. But it's been on my mind a long time. I know you think I've forgotten about you, but I haven't.
That's right.
As I told you today, I'm working on it.
Is that what you're talking about, like the parking lot? I've seen some
Yeah, so like right in between our church and where the building used to be, where Anna Faye Sullivan's lived, it's down there in the edge of the yard, close to our parking lot. Part of it goes under our parking lot, and there's holes there.
Right.
And I think there's around 200 feet of pipe. It's 36 inches, it's a big pipe, so it's a big main drain for
It's been there so long, the bottom's rusted out of the galvanized pipe, and it's beginning to sink down and lose some caving.
I honestly think the city should cover it. I mean, it's not your pipe. It's the
Right.
city's pipe that comes across the church property, so it's not nothing to do with the church at all. It just happens to come across.
It's no drain for us. It's not helping us in any way. It's, just a drain from up above us.
Probably was an open ditch till someone talked the city into putting the pipe in years ago.
Years ago. So if we could have some help on that, or get that repaired, because it's starting to get dangerous, and it's starting to wash out part of our parking. We've got large holes. We have, festivals and stuff out there, and we're worried about somebody getting hurt.
I would think we should pay for it myself, but that's just my opinion.
We'll save our pennies and get on it.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Casey?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to bring you front and center. Just come on up to the chair here and sit with us and give us a little rundown on what's been happening with Napa Retail.
Yeah. So we have had, I would say, more traction than we've had since y'all originally hired us over the past 6 to 8 months, which is kind of ironic timing just because the market in total has kind of slowed down a little bit. When we start on a project like this, one of the first things that we try to get out in front of and do is just letting people know where Hamilton is. And I know that sounds very simplistic, and believe me, we do a lot more than just that, but it's kind of the start. When we go to about 20 trade shows a year, and spend over $200,000 a year traveling to some of these events. Even though we have all this data that we show them, getting them familiar with the market, where it is, what the opportunity is, and kind of warmly introducing the market is a lot of what we do when we first get hired. I think I've seen, at least in my opinion, over the past 6 to 8 months, the fruits of that better than ever. And one of the examples that I was going to give, for a lady that we know that works at a hotel group, by the time that I introduced her to the listing agent for the property, she already knew where Hamilton was. She had been in the market. She had visited the market. She actually knew the other hotels that are in the market, and she had visited with them. And so we're at a point now where a lot of the people that we're talking to, it's not an introduction. It's like, hey, how do we make this deal happen? So a lot of what I've done over the past few months is to, number one, identify what is Hamilton's best chance of success for a large-scale development. We think that we've done that because we have identified a property roughly 45 acres off the interstate that we think is going to be well-suited for this scale of development. One thing that we did, it's not in our normal scope of work, we usually bill extra for it, but we didn't in this case. We just included it because I think it was so essential to what we needed to have to be able to sell this was a site plan. Again, it's just conceptual. It's not, we're going to go out there tomorrow and build it, but to have an idea for the scale and what is the maximum impact that we can have by taking this 45 acres and developing it for what Hamilton ultimately needs. In that site plan, there's 11 different businesses that we have spaces for. Again, each one of those spaces has multiple prospects. We're not locked in. You have to go here, you can't go anywhere else. It's conceptual at its finest level, but at the same time, we have specific prospects that we are actively engaging and talking to, that we have met with, that are interested in this market, that are interested in this development. Really going forward, what we've got to figure out is how do we get them here in the most economic fashion where some of these can thrive in Hamilton. As y'all very well know, and I think I said in our workshop we did a couple of years ago, and this is varied from year to year, but generally speaking, there's 55,000 people that come here at least once a week and spend money, at least as far as retail is concerned. We know that, we track that, our cell phone data shows that, our credit card transaction data shows that. That has been consistent since we've started here. What I have to then do is show to these businesses what the value of each of those people are to that business. And then furthermore, show them that not only can they capture those 55,000 people, but they can do it in a space that they can reasonably afford. Hamilton's just not a market where they can afford $40 a foot, and I can assure you with construction costs being what they are right now, that can be a tall order for anyone. Whether you're an Apple or you're a grocery store, either the space that you sit in is actually one of your biggest costs in some businesses. And so a lot of what I think that I'm proposing doing moving forward is to, number one, understand what are the economics of what we're asking of these people. These people, I mean, the businesses, the developer, the property owner, the city, and how can the city be a catalyst to that? If these rents are not going to work for grocery store X, then how do we get that back down to a manageable amount? We have verified that there have been multiple entities across multiple sectors that have looked at Hamilton before, but because the space didn't exist, it was just not something they could pull together. What we're proposing is, number one, to make all of this financially work for any developer. Something that we subscribe to, that we have a lot of data for, is on a quarterly basis what developers are accepting in terms of returns. So we look at IRR and cap rates and things like that. We know at a quarterly basis what the masses are accepting in terms of return. So how do we take this development that we've identified and that we've assembled and conceptualized and make that something that the average developer or investor would want to do and have them do it right here in Hamilton? Luckily, we've done a lot of that work, not only just for public sector, but today, now retail, half of our clientele and revenue is from the private sector. And so what a lot of developers and private sector entities have done is they've hired us to figure out, hey, this is going to cost a lot of money. How do we get it back down to a manageable amount? And the good part is we can do that before even approaching a developer with this prospect. We have approached developers. There are developers that we're actively talking to, but before we get the city involved in trying to offset this, we want to know what that ask is before we go and make that presentation to that developer, that retailer, etc. The good part, and something that I think I've iterated before, is that we also know at a sales forecasting level what they're expected to do in terms of gross revenue. So we know what that is going to ultimately bring back to the city. So if we were to come back and approach the city with a proposition of offsetting some of these costs, we can even show you already by offsetting these costs and getting these businesses onto this site, that will be a moneymaker for the city. And again, there's nothing that comes without risk and investment and capital, but at the same time, if the city is willing to also be a party to that, we think that that could also be a huge dividend for the city once these businesses are located.
We really want a hotel, Casey. Is it going to take hard cash from the city to get a hotel, or can we do it through an incentive? Is there any way that we could offer the hotel any type of incentives other than just hard cash to come here?
So I'm glad
we've got two cities, Ewan and Winville, both have nice hotels on the interstate. I think Hamilton deserves one, and I want one.
Well, and we agree that there should be one here, and we are actively talking to multiple hotel brands. One of the things that we did a couple of years ago is we did a hotel feasibility study.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm proposing moving forward, should y'all decide to, is I'll meet the cost of doing this, but let's get that updated. It's 2 years old. Typical shelf life, in my opinion, should be about a year. And so, free of charge, I'm willing to do that for y'all with Redeal to get that updated to 2024 numbers. And with that, I think we should have a conversation to figure out, because the first hotel study that we did was favorable. Don't quote me, but I believe the IRR on that was about 14%. The problem with that is a a acceptable IRR, but the problem is interest rates as they rise, that makes that a little bit less, acceptable. And again, that's in hotels, they're usually all leveraged in some form or fashion. And again, not saying they're all 65, 35, but at the same time, they're leveraged in some form or fashion. So interest rates play a role in that. And the interest rates weren't near what they were, or what they are now 2 years ago. And so I think getting that updated, number one, is going to be crucial to know kind of what is the current return. I don't think cold hard cash is always the answer, but I do think that if we have data that shows that the average investor in this part of the country for a limited service hotel or whatever is accepting, say, 15%, you're sitting at 14%, how do we make up the 1% difference? There are ways and things that the city can do, and even the county and state for that matter, to incentivize these types of businesses and to make that perform a little bit better. And so that's something I think would definitely be a conversation. I can't say without having that updated today how much, but I can assure you as interest rates have come up over the past couple of years, that's something that's definitely affecting that bottom line for that hotel developer. And so I think number one, getting that information and knowing, has it gone up or down? How's the market sit today versus 2 years ago? And then further, what can the city do to be a catalyst of that? And then to top it all off, what will that bring back to the city? So if y'all were to, and again, I'm not proposing any of this, but if you were to give them or put 1% back to their bottom line to make that more digestible for the developer, over time, how will that benefit the city? And we can work through that process as well. But I think in order to see something like that happen, it's not going to happen organically. It's going to have to involve the use of some type of financial vehicle to offset some of these costs.
What does a motel need to run per night to be successful? 60-70% occupancy?
So that's a great question, and I'll tell you why it's such a good question. Because before COVID, yes, I'd say they wouldn't build it unless you were about 70% occupancy. What we have found, and again, it doesn't necessarily mean that their bottom line is going to be where it was, but what happened after COVID is everything went up in price. And so hotels have what's called ADR, average daily rate. And that's typically the price that you see when you go and book. If you take all the customers they have and you average that, you get what's called the average daily rate, or ADR. What happened after COVID is those ADRs went up astronomically. So the occupancies, while they might have gone down, hotels were actually seeing more revenue because they were paying more per room and per room night. And so that's where, before I could have concisely said, yes, if you can get me 70% occupancy, and I'll have to go back and look, but I believe y'all were at least 70% when we did the study 2 years ago. But now it's, you could even be less, but then have a higher ADR. And if you had a justification for room nights that were going to be filled, i.e. like the ramp, if you know that you have a captive audience and you can get those customers into a room at any rate, even if it's 20% higher than maybe Tupelo would be, or going to Jasper, then you could fill those rooms without with a certain amount of certainty, and it would be a higher cost or a higher amount of revenue for the hotel than it normally would be if they were at normal ADR rates.
We've got a hotel, but it's not a Holiday Inn. I mean, it's not a Holiday Express. It's clean, it's nice, but we're hoping to have one of the brand name hotels out there.
It's so essential that you do, because you lose out on a sector of customers. And I represent that sector, the commercial business, travelers. That is, in a lot of cases that we've seen, that's sometimes 50% of their revenue. I can tell you, I do about 100 nights a year with Marriott. If you don't have a Marriott, I'm probably not going to be staying here. I would love for y'all to have a Marriott brand hotel, just because that would be easier on me. But that's where my loyalty, for the points and all that, lies. And so that's where, it's not a pitch for Marriott, I'm just telling you, I represent at least one customer, one sector that you're missing because you don't have that product here today. It might cost money to either the city or some financial vehicle to be able to make this happen, but I can assure you, you're missing a lot of opportunity by not having that product or that type of product here. We've met with the ramp, Tony's met with the ramp, various people that we're connected with have met with the ramp, and we know that they have a big need for this type of product as well. And so I think that we've spent, the past couple of years, we've tried doing this organically without going back to the city's coffers and saying, hey, I think we're going to need some money, but that's where I'm kind of at right now. We're like, hey, we haven't been successful without putting something with this. And so we've got the prospects, we've got the site laid out, we've got the property identified, we're working with DOT. How can we make this a little bit more lucrative to these? We've had a lot of warm leads that have kind of gone, cold or coldish. I don't think anybody's just firmly backed away from the table. But I don't think Hamilton right now, what we're advertising, is going to be their best deal that they're ever going to get. And again, I'm not saying that y'all have to make it their best deal, but how do we make it a better deal? Or at least a better deal than they might get down the road. And so that's what I'm proposing here. It's something that I can study on my end economically, and I can bring back to y'all and say, hey, if I could get this person at this rate, would you be willing to do this? And we're capable of doing that.
We've been with you 2 years and put a lot of confidence in your company. We're up for renewal, and we wanted to hear from you individually. We're going to bring this back to a workshop. I wanted you to tell us tonight a good reason for us to stay with Napa Retail, and do you see the economy improving in the next year enough to think we can land any of these fish? We want to land some fish. We're fishing.
I'll tell you all this, in terms of sticking with this. Number one, I think the people that you have in place right now, not just us, but the others that are involved in this as well, outside of our company, it's working. It's not an overnight process, but the wheels are turning. All of this is working at some level. Aside from that, I'll tell you all of this as well. We have, over the past 4 years, we've developed our own technology. We've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into our own company, and a lot of what we're doing now is we're having to charge our clients for that. One thing that we've been true to, though, is that for our most loyal clients, we've never gone up on the pricing for them. We have some that pay even less than y'all. They get the same services that y'all do, and some that pay double. They get the same services, but we recognize that y'all have given us the chance, and we try to repay that by saying, hey, you're probably getting 4x the value for a fraction of the price. And so that's something that I do wish that y'all would consider as well, is that this is not a huge money maker for us, but we believe in this project. I wouldn't have done the site plan, and I called our architect the day one that I talked to Tony about that particular site and what we can put on there. And I asked her, I was like, how quickly can you crank this out? Because I think we need something to visually show these parties, whether it's the DOT or the developer, whoever. We need to be able to point back to something and say, hey, this is what we're trying to get done, and see if we can get them to buy into that. I think having that visual is a huge deal. And we ate the cost on that. And so that's where I'm not asking for a thank you. What I'm saying is that we're as invested as y'all are. We want to see this happen. We know that this 45 acres of land on the interstate can be something. I think that the market will improve. To answer your question, I think the market will improve. Will it be drastic? Probably not. But at the same time, we still have a lot of success, even right now, with people doing a lot of cash-intensive deals where they're not going to banks. Hotels are not very much in the business of doing that. A lot of hotels, I don't think I've ever worked on a hotel that's all cash. And so I can't promise you your hotel for that, but I will say there's some other pieces that I think that we've got in the pipeline where we could probably get creative between the developer, the city, and the tenant and work something out there, and that might involve some cash.
Council, do you have questions?
I think it's a good report.
We'll promise you a vote next meeting. We tabled the vote tonight to hear from you. He drove from St. Louis. He's interested enough to drive today from St. Louis in an electric car.
Taking all kinds of risks.
Good luck on getting recharged.
Good luck getting home.
We got some Tesla chargers over at the hotel in Ewan, so if you can charge on a Tesla, maybe can get a charge.
Well, and there again, not to elongate
We've been
this.
promised some grant money to put some chargers here.
Well, that's what I was going to say is that I know it's just a couple of cars here and there. I can't tell you how many places I've stopped and spent money. And there's a little town in Texas, about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Fort Worth when I was living there called Llano. Llano is about the size of my thumbnail, much smaller than Hamilton. They had a Tesla charger there, and I stopped there, and there was like a restaurant and a gift shop. It was a $100 bill, and I can't remember what it cost me to charge, but they got $100 of my money that I would have never found this town otherwise if not for those chargers. And so I'm not trying to sell you, I am biased, I'm not trying to sell you a Tesla charger, but I am telling you, they walked away with $100 of my hard-earned money because I had to charge my car, so.
Casey, we do appreciate what y'all are trying to do for Hamilton. Put us on the map. We gotta find a way to grow this town, and this council will not be happy unless we make something happen.
Well, please know you all have my cell phone number. Text me day or night. Happy to do that for y'all. Any questions y'all have, more than happy to correspond with y'all individually. So
some of the things that we talked about earlier involving retail could be really reality, a little later. I think it could happen.
I wouldn't be here otherwise. I can guarantee you that. If I didn't think that we were going to have success here, then I wouldn't be here tonight.
Well, I appreciate you responding when we do text. It's like that.
I might be at dinner or taking a bath, but I'm right there responding to y'all. I try to.
Good luck in your new home.
All right, I appreciate y'all. Take care.
We'll try to get your matter, the church matter, on the next agenda also. And we certainly appreciate y'all coming down tonight.
Thank you.
Anything for us tonight?
I have no words of wisdom, but I may have some stuff for the next work session.
We were almost depending on the word of wisdom from you tonight.
I apologize, I was running late. I was at the open house.
You got anything for tonight? Yes. With no further business, we'll need a motion to adjourn.
Well, let's just wish everybody a safe week at school, teachers, administrators, and students. It's going to be a busy week.
Absolutely.
And I'll make that motion to adjourn.
A motion. Second. You got a second for what?
All right,
Welcome to El Agave Mexican Restaurant in Hamilton, Alabama. Under new management, we're excited to offer you a fresh atmosphere with delicious food and drinks. Mark your calendar for August the 10th and enjoy live music by the Chris Williams Band. Come on in and savor our specials and experience the vibrant new vibe at El Agave. Don't forget, we have karaoke coming soon. We'll see you there.
From a small dent to major collision repair, Hamilton Paint and Body is here for you. Owners Kim Guin would like to say thank you for your business.
Hello, I'm Richard Kitchens, owner of Sports Gallery here on the Court Square in Hamilton. I'd like to thank all of our customers and thank you for watching the Hamilton City Council meeting.
Hi, my name is Randy Whitehead, President and CEO of People's Trust Bank. I invite you to view the live streaming of Hamilton City Council meetings every first and third Monday at 6:00 p.m.
In your perfect stay at the Holiday Inn in Guin off of I-22. Enjoy our amazing on-site restaurant and bar with a lunch buffet every Sunday. Relax with a quick getaway with your family and make a splash in our outdoor pool. Book your next event with us. Call us at 205-468-4625.
I'm Rick Chambliss with Marion County Funeral Home and Spry Memorial Chapel in Russellville, Alabama. This is Glenda Cochran, our manager out here. Under the laws of Alabama that was passed in 2002, a funeral establishment has to be certified with the state and carry a certificate of authority before they can even talk to anyone when the time comes is guaranteed to be there.
Tom Bigby Electric Cooperative was formed for the need for electricity to the local citizens that were living in the rural areas of Marion, Lamar, and portions of Fayette counties. This line consisted of 12 miles and 22 consumers on the road from Guin to Sulligent. Between then and now, there has been a lot of hard work and dedication from a great number of people to make this cooperative what it is today. Tom Bigby Electric Corporation would like to thank each member. You can contact us today at 205-921-6712.
Your story starts at Bevel State Community College. Whether you are just starting out or starting over, Bevel State has an opportunity that is right for you. With 5 locations serving 7 counties, you don't have to go far to start your own success story. Plus, with tuition lower than 4-year colleges, you won't need to spend more for a great education. Visit us online at bscc.edu to learn about your options for seamless academic transfer and high-demand career tech and health science offerings. Let us help you tell your story.